Alzheimer's disease. For so long, it's felt like this one-way street, right? A diagnosis that just meant decline. A challenge that has stumped some of our best minds in medicine. But what if we've been looking at it completely wrong? Today, we're going to dig into some really groundbreaking research that's flipping that whole idea on its head, suggesting we can not only understand Alzheimer's differently, but maybe, just maybe, even reverse it.
Okay, so to really get why this new approach is such a game changer, we first have to grapple with the sheer scale of the problem, and honestly, the history of failure in trying to treat it. For patients and their families, it has felt like an unwinnable fight for decades.
And the numbers, well, they're just staggering. We're talking about 6 million people in the United States right now living with Alzheimer's. One study even suggests it's become the third leading cause of death. So yeah, this isn't some fringe issue. It's a massive public health crisis.
And here's the really tough pill to swallow. Even our best, most advanced drugs, the best we've got, they don't stop the disease. They don't improve your memory. At best, they might slow the decline a little bit, and they often come with some really serious side effects, like brain swelling, microbleeds, and even, ironically, making the brain shrink faster. So, with that pretty grim backdrop, a group of researchers decided to hit pause and ask a really fundamental question. What if our whole model is just wrong? What if Alzheimer's isn't the disease we've always thought it was? And this, my friends, is where things get really, really interesting.
You see, for years, the main idea was that there was a single bad guy. You always hear about those amyloid plaques, right? The new model just flips that whole script. It suggests that maybe Alzheimer's isn't the disease itself, but the brain's protective response to a whole bunch of different attacks, from inflammation to toxins.
And when the brain is under this constant attack, the result is something the researchers call network insufficiency. The analogy they use here is just perfect. Think about osteoporosis. In osteoporosis, your body is breaking down bone faster than it's building it back up. Well, this new model says Alzheimer's is basically that, but for your brain. It's destroying its own connections, or synapses, faster than it can repair them. The brain is literally dismantling itself to try and fend off all these ongoing threats. So if the disease is actually a response to lots of different potential insults, then it makes perfect sense that the treatment can't be a one-size-fits-all pill, right? The very first step has to be to play detective. You have to do this really deep, personalized investigation to figure out, for each specific person, what exactly is attacking their brain. And the researchers have basically sorted these attacks into 4 big buckets. First up is inflammation, which could be coming from chronic infections or even problems in your gut. Then you've got toxins like heavy metals or even biotoxins from mold. The third category is energetics, which is really all about the brain's fuel supply, something that can get messed up by things like insulin resistance. And finally, a lack of what's called trophic support. That's just all the good stuff, the hormones, nutrients, and growth factors that are kind of like fertilizer for your brain cells, keeping them healthy. And this is absolutely the crucial point. The goal isn't to find the cause, it's to find your unique combination of causes. It's about creating a complete threat profile for every single person. So for one patient, the main issues might be insulin resistance and a vitamin D deficiency. But for somebody else, it could be a hidden infection and mercury exposure. It's that deeply versional.
And once you have that threat profile, you can build an equally personalized and comprehensive defense plan. You know, this isn't about finding one single magic bullet. It's about launching a multi-pronged strategy to get rid of the threats and help the brain rebuild its own defenses.
The foundation of this plan is built on several core lifestyle pillars. It includes a specific diet, plant-rich and mildly ketogenic, to give the brain alternative fuel sources. It's a combination of aerobic exercise and strength training. A big focus on getting 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. Stress management. And even targeted brain training to help the brain literally rewire itself.
So you can see how this all comes together in a really clear step-by-step process. The goals of the treatment are a direct answer to the problems found during the evaluation. You identify the contributors, and then you just systematically go after each one. You restore the brain's energy. You get rid of inflammation. You optimize all the nutrients and hormones, and you detoxify the body. It's just a completely logical root cause approach.
Now, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds fantastic in theory, but does it actually work? Well, this is where we get to the data from the proof of concept trial. And the results are, to be honest, pretty remarkable.
Just let this number sink in for a second. 84%. That's the percentage of people in the trial who showed real, objective, measurable improvements in their cognitive scores. Remember, the best drugs on the market only aim to slow the decline. This protocol led to actual improvement in the vast majority of patients.
And this slide right here, This might be the most stunning finding of them all. On average, a person with Alzheimer's loses about 2.2% of their gray matter volume every year. Their brain is literally shrinking. But in this trial, the patients on this protocol didn't just stop the shrinkage, they saw a slight increase of 0.3% in gray matter volume. Their brains actually got a little bit bigger. That is unbelievable.
So, what about the side effects? Well, unlike the drug options, there were no serious adverse events. Zero. In fact, you could say the side effects were all positive things. Many patients actually improved their overall health so much that they didn't need their medications for things like high blood pressure or diabetes anymore.
So what does this all mean when you zoom out? This is so much more than just a new treatment. It really represents a fundamental shift in how we approach not just Alzheimer's, but maybe all complex chronic diseases. It's about finally retiring that old, hopeless narrative. And I just want to let this quote from the researchers themselves hang in the air for a moment. They are explicitly saying that the era of hopelessness is over. The idea that nothing can be done is, in their exact words, outdated and should be retired. That is a powerful statement.
So, at the end of the day, the big takeaway here is a whole new definition of Alzheimer's. It's not some inevitable, mysterious disease that just randomly attacks the brain. It's a protective, even logical response to very specific threats. And if you can identify and remove those threats, you give the brain a real chance to heal and reverse the process.
And that leaves us with one last, really provocative thought. This personalized root cause approach has shown incredible promise against one of the most complex and feared diseases on the planet. So if we can apply this way of thinking to Alzheimer's, what other chronic conditions are just waiting for a similar revolution?